Hey, this is Hans with Dakota Angler and Outfitter in Rapid City, South Dakota. Today we're going to tie a fly that's inspired by some flies I learned fishing cicadas in New Zealand, and surprisingly I brought a couple of those patterns home, and on my small trout streams here in the Black Hills had good luck with them. Kind of a shock, but the fish would go out of their way to eat these gigantic dry flies. In the vise we have a size 6 Daiichi 1280, 2 extra long dry fly hook. I'm going to put a little base of gel spun thread on the hook, and just to make sure that that's kind of stable, I'm going to take a little bit of head cement. We'll put a little bead of head cement giant bead of head cement maybe on the hook, and then we're going to spin a little bit of black deer hair. This is just belly hair, kind of a thick coarse hair. The body of this fly is going to be made up of black deer hair. I'm going to take some black deer hair, smaller clumps. Just wrap loosely around it and snug it down. Kind of fluff out your clumps as you go. Finish one clump. Move to the next, just kind of sneak your thread through and get your thread in front. Do your next clump. Equal size. Put that up against the hook. Wrap around 2.5 times and then walk it around. Then, oops, pulled too hard on that gel spun, cut my hair. Try that again. There we go. Give it a little tug. Sneak in front, keep some tension on there when you come around the front. Just keep moving along here. Cover up a fair amount of the hook shank with this black deer hair. We're going to work forward to about a little over halfway to the front of the hook. Pull some tension there, sneak in front of that clump. Always make sure you got a little layer of thread underneath where your deer hair is. Otherwise it'll spin really badly on you. Push that back, sneak in front. Getting close here. Maybe I'll do one more small clump. There we go. I like the body to be kind of full on this fly. now at this point, we're done with the body, and I'm just going to half hitch and trim my thread off. Oops. And then I'm going to trim the body, and I'll just come back and show you what I did to trim the body. Okay, so after I took the fly out of the vise, I just trimmed kind of a round, fat body. For a fishing fly, there's no need to get carried away and spending hours carving that deer hair. As long as you kind of trim it so your hook gap is still plenty large to hook fish, and you get kind of a nice round, fat body. That'll work. I'm going to start now with a different type of thread. I had gel spun for when I was spinning the deer hair. Now I'm just going to go to black 140 denier ultra thread, and I'm going to put some winging materials on now. First things first, I'm going to put a little bit of root beer crystal flash on, just for a little wing accent. I'll tie that crystal flash clump right in at the back of the body, and it's okay to let that hang over the back of the body a fair distance. Now I'm going to take a little web wing, which is a cool winging material, kind of got some sparkle and also has a nice modeling to it. This is mottled tan. I got a pretty big chunk here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chunk, I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to cut kind of a heart shape out of it. I'm going to go down and then out and come around and cut back so I get, when it's unfolded, a big heart shape like this. I'm going to lay that heart down. I'm going to tie the web wing down right at the base of the body. I didn't leave myself a real great tie-in tag there. Sneak down so I can catch it here. Give it a little pinch. There we go. So now I've got a big wing that should overhang the body a fair amount. Next I'm going to put a little over wing of deer hair on there. Probably a bit of overkill, but it's okay. Maybe not quite that much, just a tuft will do. Put that about halfway down the web wing. Trim out the butt ends there. Okay. Now take a little piece of foam, maybe a little wide. I'm going to narrow that down just a little bit. Tie that in. Right on top. And I'm going to grab some black span flex for some legs. I'm going to tie in one strip on the near side. One strip on the far side. Now we're going to tie in a grizzly hackle. You could use a brown hackle here too. It doesn't have to be fancy hackle. It's more for the legginess than it is for flotation. So after we tie in that hackle there at the base of that foam, we're going to move forward and kind of just fold these legs out of the way. Just wrap a few turns of that hackle over that little thread bump there. And then we will tie that off here towards the eye. Trim off the excess. And we're going to take and fold our legs back. We're going to pull that foam right over the top here. You don't want to mess with this little foam thing. You don't have to. I've tied this fly without it and had good luck. Now I've got that pulled over the top, and I'm going to trim off, leave a little head. Then I will whip finish or half hitch. I'll just half hitch right in that little notch there behind the eye and in the middle of that head. Trim off the extra thread. Trim these legs down a little bit. Make sure they come off in a little bit of a V here. And that is it. Not something I would imagine throwing at our trout in our small streams here, but midsummer to late summer, this has been a fabulous pattern for me. You can simplify it by omitting the foam and even the web wing if you want. I fished it like that and caught plenty of fish. And it's surprising, even fish sitting in slack water will come up and grab this fly. It's a huge offering. I don't know if they're taking it for a cicada or they're taking it for a large beetle, but they love this fly. And I use it a lot in the mid to late summer. So again, I'm Hans from Dakota Angler and Outfitter. We just finished tying my cicada pattern. You can find this video and others on our website, flyfishsd.com. And the materials to tie this fly are also at flyfishsd.com. Thanks for watching.